Someone,
I don't know why I thought
maybe they
7 o'clock tomorrow
reference,
was gonna
we
be
represent
a,
in Pennsylvania more municipalities than any municipality. I don't, there's a lot of municipalities in Dauphin. I don't think we.
This? Sound on? It's on.
I mean, we do represent.
Do you have everybody that's participating by Zoom logged in and?
I don't have the number off the top of my head. But yeah, we have a lot over here.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll live with it. Mr. Klein-Peter, are you ready? Grace, are you ready?
You say you're cold?
Good evening, everyone. At this time, I would like to call this October 4th, 2022 Borough Council meeting to order. Would you please rise with me for the Pledge of Allegiance, a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Want that closed, Jenny? Want me to close it?
Madam Secretary, would you please call the roll?
Here.
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 It's locked. It's locked.
Here.
Yes, here. At this time, I'd like to report on our last executive session. We discussed real estate, personnel, and matters of litigation. No action was taken. At this time, we have a presentation from Penn State.
Mr. President, I would like to call to the table the Chancellor at Penn State Harrisburg, Dr. Mason. Dr. Mason, you can take it away, and if you want to introduce any folks with you, please do.
Well, thank you very much. So I'll stand. Are we good to go?
Yeah.
So I'll stand for a few minutes before I do a quick little PowerPoint presentation. So with me this evening, Dr. Todd Clark. Dr. Todd Clark is the Senior Director for Student Services. So whenever a student issue comes into my mail or phone, I call Dr. Clark because he's the one that really interacts with the students on a day-to-day basis. Marie Louise Abrams, she handles all our external activities with governmental relations and also with our Board of Advisors. And Mr. Todd Camp, some of you may have interacted with Todd already. He handles all our facilities, so anything dealing with the building complex, the property, and all the things that deal with the physical assets on campus. So we have Todd number 1 and Todd number 2, and they can debate on which one they want to be number 1 and number 2. And I'm John Mason, and I want to thank all of you and the council for inviting me. Some of you may know this, so I graduated from that campus in 1972. So if you want to do some math, I think I failed retirement because around 2018, I thought I was going to retire. Penn State asked me if I was interested in coming back, and since it was a campus that I graduated from, my heart is into this complex. And I knew Middletown back in the early 70s. So thank you for inviting me back. My goal tonight is just to bring you up to date a little bit about what has been happening. You know, we've gone through almost 2 years of COVID, and there's been some changes. But we're still aspirational, and things are going very well. But I thought I'd share some of that information with you.
Thank you.
So again, Ken, and all of you, thank you very much.
Does anybody want to?
Make sure I don't mess this up. Well, certainly, as you know, we're one of the regional campuses of Penn State University. The reason for that highlighted area, when I was recruited to consider coming back to Penn State and to this region, the provost made a special point of Penn State in this area definitely is with the medical facilities, our College of Medicine. We're in the Harrisburg region. We also have a law school down in Carlisle, or over in Carlisle. So my point is, we look at this with a relationship between the medical school, our campus, and the law school. We work collaboratively on many different activities. So while we're one campus and we are one Penn State geographically distributed, many of the campuses in a particular region work very hard to stay connected and also to hopefully be doing good things in our communities. So right now, our campus has been fortunate to be referred to as the largest Commonwealth campus. You'll see we are now approximately 5,000 residential students. They don't mean they all live in the region or on campus, but they're regularly attending students. The other important point is another 5,000 students are taught by faculty on our campus throughout the world, in a world campus. So in reality, Penn State Harrisburg campus now touches over 10,000 students. So the faculty, they're interacting with them directly on campus, or they're on the world campus through a virtual environment. In the oh, see, don't let me touch anything. I'll mess it up. Is that good? There you go. We are both a campus, so as a chancellor, I worry about the operations. I also carry the title of dean because we are a standalone college. But in the entire Penn State University system, we are the fourth largest college of the university. So in addition to being the largest campus among all the various colleges of the university, we're number 4 in size. We are now at a peak of enrollment. We are stable. We have, as I said, approximately 5,000 students. Until a new building comes online, we probably will not be seeing growth in the number of students because we only have a certain amount of facility. We want to maintain a quality education, and the budgets are tight everywhere. So we have certain faculty numbers and certain staff. And my vision is to have a quality education experience and not just go for the numbers. So I will have to say, though, the university realizes that we are a comprehensive campus. We offer degrees from a 2-year associate degree up through doctoral programs. So we have all those various degree programs. In order to accommodate the students that want to come to that campus, we would need another classroom building. We would need to hire additional faculty and staff. And it's in the university hands to determine are they going to invest in doing that or not. So while I'm an advocate and a believer of what we should do, we do have the adequate space and the facilities on campus to continue to go on a growth pattern, but that would be only in the region of the campus that we currently occupy. And I have a map up there, so I'll show you where that's at. Some of you may know we also have another part of campus that we refer to as the West Campus, is where the old dormitories were at. Then there was a piece of property called Mead Heights. That's another piece of, so the Mead Heights is undevelopable, about 100 acres, about 60 acres that had the potential for some growth if we had that opportunity. But where the 2 previous dormitories were at, there's one building that has been converted to an office complex. The other one, we have not done any renovations at this point in time. Another aspect is that in this region, we are the one Penn State campus that is doing research with the public and private sector, the federal government, industries in the area, as well as state government. So our scholarship is not only for teaching students, but we're working with the public and private sector on a very daily basis. So as you might know, we're certainly proud of what we're trying to accomplish. There's challenges every day, but the reality is, I'm going to tell you a little story. My wife and I have been helping students and their families move in on move-in weekend. That's a little bit of a stretch. Michelle and I simply meet the parents. Dr. Clark and all the students, they make sure they actually do the heavy lifting. This year, I met a student from Los Angeles, Malaysia, New York City, and Alaska. So my point is, for those 5,000 students, about 700 of them come from somewhere around the world, 700 international students. And we now have a student from every single state in the United States coming to Middletown, Pennsylvania. It's because of the academic programs, right? They have all the choices, but the fact that we were offering these academic programs where the students can find employment after they graduate is a testament to what we're trying to do on campus. We now have 75-degree programs. I said it goes through 2-year, 2 doctoral degrees. The majority of the students are undergraduate students. They're pursuing a 4-year baccalaureate degree. And the schools range from the behavioral science and education, business, humanities, certainly public affairs in this area. Our largest enrolling school is science, engineering, technology. Over 2,500 students are in that scientific area. And that's really where a lot of our students are coming from around the world, are into that domain. I mentioned the enrollment. Enrollment is now stable. We're literally at a point that even if we want to grow, we're having great difficulty of where would we put the students, and I do not want to jeopardize their education. So we have probably maxed out on the space at this point in time. I told you we are a destination campus. This year we had over 27,000 applications for Penn State Harrisburg. Of those, 30% indicated Penn State Harrisburg as their first choice. We were number 2 after University Park. But my point is, even if that was 10% of those, that's how many students are interested in coming to this region to do their academic work. Again, we officially have someone from the state of Alaska, so we now claim students from 50 states and several students. But I think gives you a good idea of the diversity of the student population that we have. Regionally, we have over 700 employees when you add up the faculty and staff that live and work somewhere in the geographical region. The economists have indicated we're approaching over $2 million that we help with the state economy because of that asset of Penn State Harrisburg. And certainly between our athletic programs, I was just visiting with our theater folks today, many guest speakers. So we're actually a destination for activities, and many of you have joined us on campus from time to time. And I have to tell you, some of those are just very engaging. Faculty, staff, students, and friends all come to our campus to enjoy those activities. I'm going to move quickly towards the end. Obviously, my number one job is to make sure we have academic excellence. They're coming here because of our programs, they want to graduate, and they'd like to become employed. Our research is being funded by the public and private sector, so we enjoy those public-private partnerships, but certainly always focused on being inclusive. We have a very diverse pool of faculty, staff, and students from every demography from all parts of the world. It is truly a cultural experiment. It is amazing the type of individuals that we're learning from all around the world. I'm going to move to a closure on one thing we're very cognizant of. Our academic programs, many of them require that you are accredited nationally. So one of the reasons we're drawing to students that the faculty have the credentials that our programs are nationally recognized. We don't have to explain our degrees to anybody. If you get a Penn State degree, you're getting a Penn State degree, and it doesn't matter what campus you're getting that degree from. We continue to look at making sure we have a good ratio between students and faculty. That's why the number of buildings are important. We do not want to overwhelm the faculty with more students than can be handled in a classroom setting. And our students are enjoying internships with industry in the public and private sector. Many companies provide capstone experiences, usually when they're seniors. No matter what domain they're in, they're working, whether they're going into pre-law or pre-medicine or engineering, they're working with companies on real projects in their studies. As I mentioned, we're definitely successful in bringing in some external funding. In the last 4 years, over $15 million have come to support our research. What does that mean? That means our faculty and students receive monies to do the studies, and many students then receive compensation or scholarships through those dollars to help them offset their tuition costs and provide them with some monies for their living expenses. So it's not just research for research's sake. It's helping our humanity, but it's also helping the students pay their tuition. And we enjoy a lot of external support from our friends, alumni, and donors. I mean, without them, many of our students would not be able to attend a university setting. We are service-oriented. We're developing various programs that are looking at some future economic growth. I think when I addressed this group 3 or 4 years ago, we had some visions of maybe doing a public-private partnership and having some industry occupy some research office space. Right now, there's more office space available because many people have flexible work arrangements. What we're concentrating now is in the health arena. It looks like working on health issues. Clinical type of activity seems to be something we can participate in. And we also recognize the problems with addiction in our society. That is an area that we're receiving public and private funds to educate people that if they do have a friend or family member that happens to be in an addicted state for various reasons, we develop programs, not the clinical side, but we help them find help that they might need. So we do not do the clinical addiction drug services. We inform them of the programs that are available in our community that can assist them. And I think that's it. I tried to stay on schedule. Would be happy to answer any comments, questions, or concerns. I would say that each day our faculty and staff love working with the students. We do have to recognize they are students, and they vary in age from the 18 to 21 group, but we have many adults that come back for their education and training. So when we talk about our students, I would say they're 18 to 80. So thank you very much for your time. And as I said, if there's any comments or questions, if I can't respond, perhaps some staff can respond. Thank you again.
No, thank you very much. Anybody have any questions, concerns? Excellent. Thank you very much for your
I
presentation.
don't have any, oh, excuse me. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Public Safety Director Dan Wright, from the town of Berkeley, one of the things I deal with, I was just hired here in April, and as the summer went on, I kept getting phone calls from people about, hey, just wait for the students to come back, and my neighborhood has to deal with traffic that's coming out of the east side of the side of the campus. So we're planning on conducting some type of traffic survey to see how to better help the people who live in that part of the neighborhood. Have an officer sit on the stop sign and giving students citations for running the light running the stop sign isn't necessarily the answer for solving that problem. So would I partner within your agency, Office of
Mr.
Safety
King,
Guard?
and thank you, and our police services are trying to work collaboratively. We appreciate that.
Very well.
You're right. Every day, I will tell you, the Chancellor's office, we have to deal with those issues because sometimes the young adults
Well,
do
there's
what young
miles
adults
up
do.
there. It's easier than waiting for the light down at 2:30. Spring Street becomes a little bit of a time to get going and get out to Union Street. So it's definitely a problem. We're just trying to figure out the best way to solve it without impacting people too negatively. So we'll make sure we share business cards and we'll try to go from there.
And so we're interested in all public safety for the community. And likewise on campus, we're trying to do our enforcement on campus. So I hopefully we'll have a positive impact. I think we're going to be able to solve every problem every day. We're trying our best.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Dr. Mason, I didn't have any questions, but just wanted to thank you all again for coming, and thank you for the many wonderful evenings spent at Penn State, the invitations to your theater programs. They are amazing, and the Flamingo one is coming up. I know, it's oh my God.
And again, we will continue to invite you all, and if you have the time and you want to see what's really going on, again, we're proud of the students. That's what we do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much. Appreciate
Yep.
it.
Thank you.
At this time, do I have public comment on agenda items?
I'm Jennifer McCain. I live at 737 North Spring Street, which is the corner of Spring and Wharton. And so it is in direct relationship to what Public Safety Director Wright just said. The first thing I'd like to address is when both of those student housing campuses were built by the cemetery, there were still about 12 houses left there. And when those 12 houses were torn down and student housing was built, they also put in a soccer field, which is pretty much behind my house. So I'd like you to listen to this from my back porch. Oh, sorry. So this is not even one of the louder recordings. The weekend of Pumpkin Fest from Saturday and Sunday from 2 o'clock to 6 o'clock, all I heard was music, and even over a window air conditioner and my television, I could hear the thump, 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 thump of the bass on the music. So the issue with the soccer field is not new. That's been going on for a couple years. I spoke to Lower Swadara Township Police, and I spoke to them on the weekend of Pumpkin Fest, which was up at the Middletown home. Because initially I spoke to a campus officer, and he told me I understood him to say that there was no soccer game at that time and that it was coming from Pumpkin Fest. I then spoke to a Lower Swadera officer who told me he had just, this was about 45 minutes later, he told me that he had just left the soccer field and there was a soccer game going on, and that's where the music was coming from, and that he spoke to the chief, and the chief said that it didn't violate any, rules or ordinance. And I understand you can have, noise up to a certain time of day. But I know quite a few band members, and I don't think you want me to have them practicing on my back porch every weekend for 4 hours. So that's one of the issues. And the other issue I'd like to talk about, and as you all know, and I've been here many times before, is the issue with the students going back and forth to the campus. As you know, they're hitting 60 miles an hour on Spring Street in a 25-mile-an-hour zone. So the speeding is definitely an issue. I had an incident where someone ran the stop sign at Catherine and Wharton and almost hit me. I see the cars, running the stop signs like they're not there. I hear the horns blowing because somebody's running the stop signs. But what I also want to talk to you about is the cars that are parked on Spring Street in the area of the student housing. So initially when that opened, we had to put up some no parking signs on the one side of the street, because if they park on both sides of the street, it's very narrow. It's like going through a tunnel. It was, just not really good for traffic flow. So that's worked pretty well, but this year they're parking like a little further back, so they're more towards the building at the cemetery, and then on that other side of the street, so you again have that issue where it's pretty narrow to get through there. So I wanted to mention that, and, we might have to extend that no parking on the one side of the street. And then the other issue is, Spring Street actually curves just like Union Street does. You have those turns. And what will happen is the students will come and park, and they're parked like this on the corner where this bend is in the road. So their back end is sticking out. Or in some cases, as I was coming up here tonight, I don't think that they were parked necessarily on the curb. They were just pretty far out from the curb. I was wondering if we can, look into maybe having those two areas painted yellow so they can't park right on the, that bend area that sticks out. I don't think it's so much of an issue where it's, going in, but it's definitely, so if you're heading from Wharton Avenue towards High Street, and they're parked like that, their back end sticking out. And as a matter of fact, one day there was a bus coming the other way, and luckily no one was parked behind this car that was sticking out, because I had to pull into what would be a parking space in order to not get sideswiped by the bus. So there are other issues there besides just the speeding and the running of the stop signs. And I really hope that, we can partner with Penn State and get this resolved for everybody. I'm not the only person, that deals with this. I'm just the person that comes here and is vocal about it to all of you. So I would appreciate, if we can look into that and continue to keep those issues in mind. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you for that data. It's a lot of data to digest, and we will definitely work on getting some answers for that. Any other public comment on agenda items? Seeing none, agenda item number 1.
Do I have a motion to approve council meeting minutes for the September 20th and September 27th, 2022 meeting as submitted?
So moved.
Moved by Councilor Kluskevich, second by Councilor Miller. Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Oppose?
I'm abstaining.
Motion carries with one abstention. Agenda item number 2.
Do I have a motion to approve payment of bills as shown on the accounts payable list dated September 29th, 2022, which is for the period of September 16th, 2022 through September 29th, 2022, and to ratify approval of such bills already paid and to authorize the appropriate officials to take the required actions to make those payments?
So moved.
Moved by Councilor Kluskevich, second by Councilor Seitz. Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Motion carries. Agenda item number 3.
At this time, Mr. President and Council, I want to report that we have 4 candidates for the vacant Borough Council seat, and each candidate has provided us with a letter of interest and a resume. The candidates who supplied those letters of interest are candidate Phyllis Dew, Robert Follinger, Patrick Lister, and Brandon Brawler. I hope I pronounced your last name.
Brockler, but I got
Brockler.
Brawler.
Rockler.
Brockler?
I thought it was
Brock.
2, and I picked the wrong one, but thank you,
Thank you.
Brandon. What we will do is we will conduct a public interview here of each candidate, followed by council deliberation, a public deliberation if necessary, and finally a vote to select one of the 4 candidates. We will interview the candidates in an order that is shown on your council spreadsheet. It's no specific order, but our first candidate that we will interview will be Ms. Phyllis Dew, who will be participating by Zoom, okay? While we are conducting her interview, we will sequester the other 3 candidates in a room next door, and I will come and call on you one at a time. It's in an interest of fairness, so each candidate doesn't hear the question. If you go down the hallway, Grace, if you want to try to get
I'm gonna shut this.
Okay.
I'll show the candidates where we can wait.
Are you that bored?
Welcome to Zoom. Enter your meeting ID followed by pound.
Cooling down a little bit in here.
Enter your participant ID. You are in the meeting now. There are 2 participants in the meeting. You have been added to the waiting room. You cannot talk or listen until the host admits you to the meeting.
I have no idea.
Does anybody need a score sheet?
No, thank you.
Okay, I have provided some possible questions for council, but council, if you wish, you can have your own question. Feel free to ask that question.
Thank you for putting this together.
So we just about have Phyllis ready. We have her picture, and we'll get audio next, I guess. Did you dial it in here? Phyllis, can you hear me? This is Ken. It's not on mute. Hello, Phyllis? I think it might be on her end.
Does anybody have a contact number for Ms. Dew?
Is it on her resume?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Should she?
This is what happens to me when I have to go from Zoom to Microsoft Teams.
Ms. Dew? We're calling you. We can't hear you.
Ms. Dew, can you hear me? This is Council President Redinger.
Yes, now I can hear you.
Do you have your computer unmuted?
I don't have this
Says
computer
they're
on.
There should be a button at the
Some of it, and let me turn this on.
Is it coming through now? Okay, Phyllis.
It's coming through there in the speaker.
Oh,
I can't hear.
It's not coming through here.
I see you, but it just is letting me get bigger, but I can hear.
Through the phone.
bottom left there.
Yeah, but see. But isn't it from the? It's her eye. Ian's microphone. Right. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, Phyllis, can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay, just let us know if you have any issues hearing us. We'll do our best to.
Okay, I hear you clearly.
Okay. I guess Phyllis, I hope you're feeling better. Are you feeling well?
You know what? I'm blessed. Surgery was successful. There was a moment there with something, and then I'm fine. I'm home, but I hurt.
Well, I'm glad you're home.
And I would like for it to be very kind of you. Thank you. And I would also like for it to be understood. I'm under this heavy medicine, this oxycodone, and sometimes you fade in and out. I'm going to really focus. And when I say that is, I'll be talking to you and then I've nodded, or I start talking because it seems like somebody's in the room. But I'm going to be focused. I just want that to be said.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Excellent. Well, let's start with some questions. Anybody have any questions they would like to ask Ms. Du?
Angie, you want to go first?
I'll go.
What is the biggest concern right now the borough is facing?
One of the biggest concerns I have is I wonder if we're wasting resources. We have a college town here that my understanding had been when I ran the last time that there was people on the council that worked with them, but it never did. I never was able to run down who I was, but I'm concerned about that. One of my biggest concerns is children, always has been, and them getting enough to eat. And I notice sometimes people are driving around looking for churches that are having a picnic or having something for the children to eat. So I'm concerned about the children. I have a concern about the community. I have been on the community committee in Harrisburg for maybe 20 years. And I'm actively involved with them. With everything they have. If they have something, the drug and alcohol, I'm involved in that. If they have something for clothing drive or something, I'm involved in that. I'm a social worker, a retired social worker. So that's my life. I love helping. And I don't say that as a cliche. If I know something or know somebody, I'm going to tell them if you give me permission that this is what your need is. And you build, you build a community of people that can help people. And I'd like to see that here in Middletown.
Excellent. Anybody else have any other questions they would like to ask? Ms. Lloyd?
Hi, Phyllis. Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay, so my question is, this is a two-part question. What is one thing that this council has done that you disagreed with?
You talking about in the past?
Like recently, like maybe a decision that we voted on that you disagreed with?
Off the top of my head, Angela, I can't say that because, and I'm going to tell you why. For the last 3 months, I've been in and out of doctor's office with my knee, and I'm not all the way tip top on what is going on. You know, I have called some people and say I've been out of the link. I couldn't even get to the meetings. But right now, I can't tell you anything off the top of my head.
Okay. Well, thank you for your honesty. I appreciate that.
Any other questions for Ms. Dew?
Well, what was
but
the second part from Angela?
Oh, no, with the first part, you answered it.
Okay.
I have a question. Ms. Dew, what is Middletown's greatest asset, in your opinion?
Oh, boy. One of the things, I don't know if you feel this as simplistic. I like where I live, you know, the neighborhood. I live in Pineburg. So I like where I live. I like the interchange of the different cultures. And it seems to be getting better and better. That's something I've noticed. So that's the thing I really like. I'm really interested in the council and things that they are doing, you know, and how would it help other people become involved? You know, people are kind of lackadaisical around politics and voting and that type of thing. So that's what I like. Living here, like shopping is small, but it's not real big either. And I'm okay with that.
Okay, excellent. Any other, Mr. Seitz?
Ms. Dew, what makes you feel that you're the right person for the position? Ms. Dew, this is Jim Curry. What makes you feel you're the right person for the position?
Ms. Dew, can you hear us?
Okay, can you hear me?
We can hear you now, yes. Did you hear the question?
No, I didn't hear the question because somebody was trying to get in on my line. Would you please tell us?
Sure. Ms. Dew, what makes you think that you're the right person for the position?
Because of my experience, I started out in college. I got my undergraduate and my master's degree from the University of Pittsburgh at a time when a lot was going on in the community areas. And at that time, they called the 8 areas poverty areas. And I was actively involved with that in the beginning all the way until I moved to Harrodsburg. Also, in that training between school and the community, you learned a lot. You know, you went to the meetings, you had projects that were helping in the community and that type of thing. I love social work. The other side of doing social work in the community, like I said, is the children. Once I finished college, I was working with foster and adopted children. With these children, you learn that they had a different type of upbringing, and they needed a different type of counseling. I opened my own agency around, I think it was in 1999, and began to do counseling with foster and adoptive children, and some of those were court referrals. You know, I did some of that. I also have a certificate of religion, and I am an ordained pastor.
Excellent. Very impressive.
Thank you.
Ms. Dew, what do you hope to accomplish as a borough council member?
I'm sorry, who's this?
Mr. Kluskevich,
Oh, okay.
Did-
What did you say?
what do you hope to accomplish as a borough council member?
As I said earlier, I got to see what is going on. I've been in and out doctor's office all summer. So I have to, you can't just jump in anywhere. You have to see what is going on and first, what is the need? And then you start doing what needs to be done.
Okay, excellent. Any other questions? Ms. Miller?
No, I don't have any other questions. Yes.
Hi, this is Jenny Miller. I have a question. What is your position on tax increases?
Okay, I don't know what's going on with the taxes, but certainly as a citizen, I don't want to be taxed. But again, I'm not up to par on what's going on with that.
Okay, fair enough. Any other questions for Ms. Dew?
Well, Ms. Ringer, if you were not the chosen candidate, would the borough has several open positions in terms of volunteer, would you be open to serving in another capacity?
Serving as a what? I'm sorry.
If you were not chosen to serve on council, the borough has other positions available on other boards. Would you be willing to serve in other capacities?
Depending on what they were. Say for now, I've been for a few years, maybe 10 years, serving on the Dauphin County Drug and Alcohol Committee for a number of years. And I also do prayer with the neonatal babies before this pandemic on Tuesday mornings. I go in and pray with them. So that's what I got volunteer. I don't want to make a promise that I can't keep. I try to keep to what I say I'm going to do. I don't know. I would have to see what that is.
Okay, excellent. Any other questions?
No, I don't have any questions.
Does council or the mayor have any other questions? Seeing no more questions, I guess we'll just keep Ms. Dew on the line.
Ms. Dew, we sequestered the other candidates, therefore, well, no, she could stay on the line.
Yeah,
Because
we'll
she's done. You can stay on the line and listen to the other candidates since you've already gone.
Do you mind muting your phone? I'll just keep my phone on.
I would do that right now.
And then you can just mute it, and if you can,
Okay.
that's up to her. That's her call. Miss Dew, can you see us? Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I'm sure, all right. We made it through our technical challenges. Jim, can you open that window, please, now that I know.
Yeah, but it's,
Oh, what dealing with this?
No, you don't turn the heat on a little bit.
Only if we had an electrician. It's gonna be broken and I unplugged it. The camera.
That means it'll run forever now.
Start shorting the wires. Somebody will know how hot it is. Well, no, with it being unplugged, it should not call for it
Ian,
anymore.
the director could fix it if he's on. Boom, done.
Yeah.
First question, what's your experience with HVAC?
Smith and Wesson 44, boom, it's done.
Mr. Fallinger.
Sir.
Thank you for submitting a letter of interest. At this time, council will ask you some questions. Does anybody have any questions? Mr. Seitz?
Mr. Fowler, what is the biggest issue the borough is facing at this moment? What is the biggest issue the borough is facing at this moment?
I think the biggest issue that I see is unity between council members.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
I said, I think the biggest issue that I see right now is the unity between council members. There's certain things that I know that you can't control as far as taxes and stuff like that, but it just seems like there's a constant bickering back and forth.
Go ahead.
So it's your belief that everybody should agree with every issue at every time?
Absolutely not. No.
Then expand on your answer.
Well, I just see a lot of inner fighting here. I'm at all the meetings, I see the stuff that happens at the tables here, and there's a lot of arguing that I think should be taken care of other places rather than sit here at the table. I mean, you're a team. You're here to serve the community. You're not here to look at some stuff I call personal agendas. And yeah, everything should be flowing a lot easier than what it is flowing right now, in my opinion.
Appreciate the constructive criticism. Any other questions for Mr. Fallinger?
Mr. Fallinger, obviously, you attend the meeting, so you're aware that last year Borough Council raised taxes in the borough. What was your feeling with regard to that decision?
I'm sure as most of the citizens, and they were not quite in favor of it, but, and I know what happened with the past. I know that councils in the past have basically failed to project cost for the future of the borough. So unfortunately, you guys are the ones now that have to try to make the solutions work with the finances that we have coming in. So if you don't have the finances coming in, you're either going to cut back on services, wages, or go make money. The way you make money in the borough, I guess, is you got to raise electric rates and you have to raise taxes. Suez is doing a good job with pocketing their pockets with the rates every year going up. So, yeah. I agree with, you got to do what you got to do to make it work.
Why do you think you're the right person for the position?
Other than I've been a lifelong resident, I see things that, in my opinion, that I think were some of the projects that we do are not necessarily what needs to be done at this particular time, and I'm only one vote, but I'm definitely a team player. If it works, it works. If it's not going to work, I'm going to physically tell you or verbally explain, yeah, it ain't going to work. Let's not do it. But I will go with a majority vote. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and argue with you for 2 and 3 hours about where a Christmas tree should be planted, where lights should be put up. Should we change the decorative banners downtown? Should we have straw out at every intersection? I mean, I want to see things change, but I want to see things change for the positive. I don't want to go back to the 60s and 70s. I'd like to. Things were great then, but They're never going to go back that way.
What do you feel is Middletown's greatest asset?
Other than where we're located, the greatest asset that we have right now going for us is our police department. And I don't say that because I was a former cop. I think we probably have one of the best police departments in the area for what they deal with and the number of staff that they have. Our electric rates are great. That's a plus for our area.
Tell Mr. Still that.
Our,
Tell the realtors that.
I think that, our school district's good. I don't think they're the best in the area. Overall, Middletown is a very nice place to live. I mean, I've been here for all but 7 years out of 75. If I didn't think it was good, I wouldn't be here.
Excellent.
I mean, I was born right down at 134 South Union Street, apartment 7, 3rd floor. Been here ever since, not at 134 South Union Street, but I've been here ever since.
Can you give us an example of actions council has taken that you like or dislike recently?
Well, dislike, like I said before, was the tax increase, but I understood why. What I liked is I liked the decisions for Middletown. I'm a little bit in disagreement with the cost of Little Middletown, but I understand economics. But overall, I think council does a good job when they're all on the same page.
Mr. Follinger, you mentioned that you would like to see things change. What would you like to accomplish as a Borough Council member?
There's got to be certain things out there, and I'm not in the funding market. You want to make a hamburger or a hot dog, I can make you the best hamburger and hot dog in the world. However, I think a lot of this, the grants and stuff, which Senior Moment does a great job for HRG to try to put us on board, but
Thank you, Ian.
there's areas that there's monies I know are probably going to be allocated for like the continuance of the lights and stuff up here. There's nothing there. I don't know why we're spending the money for it when we should concentrate on that downtown, try to get some more businesses in the few little places that we have down in Middletown. Get it back to the downtown area. I mean, when I was a kid growing up, there was probably 27 shops down there. Now you're lucky if you have 7. And we get around to, we close a business down, or a business goes out, and we let the landlord go ahead and put apartments in. So that takes away, and I'm in reference to Greenewalt's, Beano's, and everything down that way. They're all apartments, no businesses. Why can't we get other people in here? I mean, I'd be willing to sit around and talk with somebody about getting more business into the borough, but it's just, and I know we had a committee for that. So I don't know, really. It's just there's a lot that could be done that isn't being done. And I don't necessarily say I'm the #1 candidate, but I try to keep my things, my thumb on the pulse of the borough all the time because I'm here.
Excellent. Anybody else have any questions for Mr. Fellinger?
I actually have a question. In your answer to Mayor Curry's question, I believe you said that you would go with the majority. Can you explain what you mean by that?
If it's going to benefit the community, I would vote either against or no. If it's that tight of a decision versus on what would benefit the community versus what I would see would not benefit the community. If definitely something brought up here on your agenda that I have no idea why or for rhyme nor reason why it's even being discussed, I would definitely vote no. But if it's got a purpose and the majority is not just me would vote, say yes, I would not be an abstaining. I may be an abstaining vote or a definite no vote.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Mr. Fallinger? All right. Thank you for
Sure.
submitting
You're
your...
allowed to sit in or?
Yes.
Ouch.
Hey, Matt. You have a screwdriver? Like the tiny small. Yeah, it's pretty good. Small.
Flames coming out of the wall.
Just open the breaker. I'm going to pull a wire if I get a screwdriver.
How about we just expedite it?
Mr. Lister, thank you for submitting a letter of interest. At this time, council is going to ask you a few questions. Council? Mayor? Mr. Seitz?
What's the biggest issue facing the borough at this time?
One, that's something I want to sit down, and if I get brought in for this position, I'd love to kind of sit down and talk through that. But, when I look at the borough, I've been here for 10 years. My wife grew up in Middletown. We bought the house that she grew up in from her parents years ago. So my family kind of lives here. We're stationed here. And when I see our town, I just see a lot of potential, just in general. And when I think of like there's a calling on my life, and it revolves around individuals, around people, and getting the most out of people. And that's what kind of led me to my career choice as a physical therapist assistant and having multiple practices. But what's even kind of excites me even more than simply bringing out the ability in people is groups of people. When I think of groups of people, I think, how can that be seen in the biggest way possible? And I can, a town. So I would say just like potential. When I walk, for instance, if we want to go to a park, we tend to, go to Hershey because we can go in Hershey and there's tons of restaurants we can go to, a lot of different things for the kids. And I come into Middletown and we have a lot of great things, and there's a lot of good things coming. I'm super excited about the playground that's coming for the kids. But I see a lot of empty buildings, and I see, places of opportunities of business, and ways that we can really just spark this economy to make, the people over in Hershey or wherever else say, we need to go over to Middletown. They have that new playground over there, Little Middletown. We can stop at Tattered Flag. And I think there's tons of more opportunities that revolve around that.
Thank you.
Mayor?
Mr. Lister, last year, Borough Council, as part of their budget, raised taxes. As a resident, I'm sure you're aware of that. My question is, do you agree or disagree with the basis for them doing that last year?
So how I look at it, if I was sitting in my home and managing my household and, and I wanted X, Y, and Z, but I didn't have the money for it, I always would want to make sure at the bottom line I'm balancing what I have, because I know that's what's going to be best for my family long term. And I think that the same can be said for, you know, a municipality or a borough or whatever else. You know, looking what we have, making sure that we're strong, because let's be honest, if we're not strong here as a town, then we can't be strong for our people. That's kind of that's my opinion with that.
Good. Any other questions?
Mr. Lister, what would you hope to accomplish as a borough council member?
I think one, just selfishly, I would like to accomplish just learn and get experience of what exactly goes on here, because you know I see myself being here, you know, long term, you know, raising my kids here and staying here. You know, I think we're in our forever home now, and I think there's no greater way that I could you know, leave a lasting legacy for my children and, you know, maybe their children one day, is by investing in the town that they're going to live in and grow up in, just to help make that the best it possibly can. So, you know, I think it's all of our responsibility as individuals to try to make this world a little bit better. You know, and even though I'm one person, I don't have a lot of power, I don't have a lot of money, but it just takes a little bit of influence, and that's something that, you know, I hang my hat on, is leadership and influence. That's my passion in life. So I think that's something I can.
Mr. Lister, can you give us an example of some action that Borough Council has taken that you agreed with, or something that you disagreed with?
To go back on to, one, you guys haven't seen me here before. Like, I don't come to a lot of meetings, so I don't know a lot of the ins and outs of what you guys discuss. So it's really hard for me to give you just a clear answer on that. You know, Mayor Curry, what you brought up just, you know, previously when you said, you know, raise taxes, you know, that's something I do side with there. But, you know, as a whole, you know, that's, to be honest with you, like, I'm not in the nose of everything, so.
Fair answer. You know, honesty is fair.
Mr. Lister, thank you for sharing your resume with us. I was so intrigued with your experience in leadership as a speaker on a committee. I'm wondering if you could imagine how your experience in leadership in your professional setting might be brought to bear and benefit the council.
Yeah. I mean, I guess first off,
I'm sorry, you went in and out. I was on mute. I heard you say my name.
No, you're good. Could you just mute your phone, please? Thank you.
I guess first off, like, humbly, I don't know everything about leadership, and, you know, I don't think I'm this great person when it comes to leadership, but, like, you know, what I hit on previously, it is my passion, and I have a passion for people, especially leading groups of people, and, you know, I come in with a heart that is humble and wanting to learn. I love listening to ideas. I love conflict and working through conflict with people. I value each person. I think each person is has value, and I value the opinions of others. So I would guess my answer would be, if I had the opportunity for people to listen to me, I feel like I can, you know, help everybody go in a good direction. But more importantly, I'm just really interested to learn what other people have to say. Learn from that, so.
Thank you.
Yep.
That is a beautiful definition of leadership.
Anybody else have any other questions for Mr. Lister? Excellent. Mr. Lister, thank you. Oh, I'm sorry.
We asked the other candidates, did we ask what he thought was his greatest, Middletown's greatest asset?
Oh, yeah, I actually usually ask that. What do you think is Middletown's greatest asset?
Yeah.
Oh, you did? What do you think is Middletown's greatest asset?
I think the greatest asset, and this is just for me, like, so, like, I married a Middletown girl, so I'm going to say the people. You know, I love, and it's not happening right now, you know, football, but it's one of my greatest just things. I love going to Middletown football games and, you know, seeing us go to other people's, you know, football fields, and we have a bigger crowd there. And, you know, I just think the people really, I think we care about this town a lot. We care about the history here. that we really want to see it prosper and grow. So I would guess the simple answer would be the people and the people's passion for the town. I think that's our greatest asset.
Excellent. Great answer.
Thank you.
Does anybody else have any other questions? All right. Thank you for your time.
Yeah.
You can be seated.
Thank you.
Matt, do you have this screwdriver?
They're coming tomorrow.
Famous last
We got the electrician on it, guys.
You don't have a bigger screwdriver? Call him. Matt, you have a bigger screwdriver?
Would a multi-tool work? Just the interview? Whoever can get the, if you can get the heat down.
Problem solved.
You got the-
Yeah.
Matt, you don't have a pair of snips, do you?
I do not, just scissors.
Is it that
Grace
bad?
has a screwdriver.
I'm determined.
I got that one up there, so a little bit. So a bird doesn't fly in.
Yep. I'll hold the light for you, Dad.
Higher, higher. Can't do anything.
You need to buy some tools for this borough.
Let's start with a box, I think.
Josh, you're an electrician. I mean, an engineer, right? Same thing.
To make this easier, just take the meeting
Oh,
outside.
beautiful.
There it is.
Must teach electric and engineering school, right?
I think I heard it already click on.
Big spider coming.
It's just low voltage. It's just.
Here comes a nice breeze.
Mm.
Yep. Yeah, 12 or 24, depending on the transmission. It's amazing how our minds think. I like it. It's the same exact.
Now you'll need a paperweight.
You still feel it? Yeah. Is it still coming out?
It's gonna get better with that window open now.
Yeah, the blowers are still.
Well, I am so sorry. That was bugging me. I had to do that.
I'll allow it.
I'm sorry.
I'd rather be cold than.
You're gonna put your beanie on.
Well, thank you for submitting a letter of interest. At this time, council and the mayor are going to ask you a few questions. Council?
What is the biggest issue the borough is facing?
I'm actually a super positive person. I'm trying to join council because I think things are on the upswing. I have a police background, if you guys looked at my resume, so that's really drawn most of my attention, and I was actually telling one of the other candidates, I think keeping the same police chief for more than a year will probably help us. So, in all seriousness, lowering the speed on Cameron Street, well, I call it Cameron because I'm from Harrisburg, but well, I work in Harrisburg, but on Main Street has really helped. There's a parking issue that I'd like to see addressed on like Hoffer and Fry Manor, but in all reality, I think just general public safety. You know, I feel safe, but I think we can feel safer.
not a knock on you or your agent.
Any other questions?
Last year, Borough Council, in their budget season, chose to raise taxes. Did you agree with or disagree with that decision?
I don't disagree with it. I know we're currently floating around 10 mills. I don't know the budgetary process. I'd like to learn that. That's one of the reasons I applied here. I'd like to keep taxes low, but I'd like to learn, where that money's going. But from the meetings I've been at, I think this is my fourth or fifth one, I haven't seen any ridiculous expenditures. So I think council's been pretty fiscally responsible from what I've seen in the last, I think I started coming around in January, so the last 8 months, 9 months.
Can you give us an example of an action at council took that you liked or disliked, or both?
Last meeting's real fresh on my mind. I like that you guys hear people out. I think this council's been very receptive. Just little things. I think last week was, hey, there's a lot of spiders and stuff at Amtrak, and somebody was like, hey, I already called them, we're already on it. And just knowing that the mayor, I think, responded to an email, making sure that people are responding to that. As silly as it sounds, a year or 2 years ago, the trash can at Fry Manor Park was overflown with, it was getting used a lot, and then it was snowed in. I shot an email through the city's website, or the borough's website. It was empty the next day. So in general, I think this is a very responsive group, and I'd like to be part of it.
Any other questions?
Hi. What do you believe is Middletown's greatest asset?
Well, I know it's not physically in the borough, but I'm a Penn State Harrisburg grad, so I think that's a big draw here. I think it's the people. I think that small town vibe, we're still hosting events, we're still doing homecoming parades. I think there are a lot of townships that are getting away from still having some community. I like where we're heading with more restaurants. I like that it's growing, but I think the biggest asset is the people here. People still want to live here. I have a bunch of coworkers that live in and around the borough. I plan on living here till long past till I retire. So I think it's the people.
You're down on Hoffer Street, correct?
Yes, sir.
You're close to the park?
815 Hoffer. Yep, I'm almost across the street from the fire.
What do you think of the borough's recent project with the parking lot down there?
I was all about it. It was great. I use that every day to turn around so I can park on the correct side of the street. No, but seriously, we have a fenced, a semi-fenced yard, so our dogs are always out, and they love when that park's in operation. It's great seeing 50 kids playing football. Our dogs love it, the energy, it feels like a community there. And we go over there, and we broke the COVID rules, and we're over there with our nieces and nephews, so I like where the parks are heading. I like what you guys are doing with Hoffer Park. So, good community assets.
Mr. Brockler, what do you hope to accomplish as a borough council member?
Well, if you guys briefly looked at my resume, I'm all about getting to learn things and then implementing those things. So probably spend the first couple meetings with my mouth shut, my eyes open, trying to learn the process. Already started digging into the borough code and understanding how Title VIII works. But really, I just want to see the borough keep responding to what people want. I don't have any right now. This is my list of what has to change. I just know that sitting up there, I can learn, and maybe there's problems. There certainly are problems in this borough that I don't have any clue about. So, open my eyes and let me be part of the solution.
Mr. Brockler, I'd like to go back to the question that Mr. Sykes asked you. So you had mentioned two things that you liked in terms of actions that council has taken. You did indicate that you've been coming to meetings since January. Is there something in the last 10 months that you did not agree with?
Not off the top of my head, and just to be clear, I don't want to get credit for meetings I wasn't here. I went to a couple in January. I've been to the last few, but I plan to be more involved.
Any other questions for? Ms. Lloyd?
What makes you the right person for this position?
I've been making decisions my entire adult life. I spent about a decade in the Army National Guard, took leadership positions, been deployed overseas. No problem gathering info and making the decision. Hershey Entertainment, I worked there for a decade as a security manager. Same thing, get information in, make the right decision on the way out. Been a police officer in the city of Harrisburg for 9 years now, the last 2 as a supervisor. Been starting to get more involved in writing policy with them. I serve on our union board. I'm the treasurer of our bargaining unit, so I'm involved in labor negotiations. So I think a lot of my past work experience as well as my college education is geared towards not specifically borough management, but just general leadership and decision making.
Any other questions? All right. Excellent. Thank you for your interest and appreciate it.
Thank you. It was much easier once the heat was turned down.
I don't know. I'm not an HVAC guy. I tried.
Okay, council, at this time, do you have any questions of each other or any discussion, having heard the answers to your questions?
Councilor or Mayor have any questions or concerns about the candidates?
No, the only thing I'd like to point out is that we've had open positions before, and I have to say, I thought all the candidates did an excellent job tonight. That was a good group of people.
It really was. I will echo that. Really great group of people tonight.
Okay, at this time, do I have a nomination from any council member?
I move to appoint Pat Lister.
I guess we should clarify the way it should go.
It's just a
First,
nominations.
Council members, these are just folks that indicated an interest. That doesn't mean they're nominated. So it's up to council to nominate any or
All the
or
candidates.
none, or someone else. And then, once you're done making nominations, here's the slate of potential people, then, and it should proceed, and whoever is first nominated, and you'll know everybody who has been nominated by the time you're voting, and you would vote on each one, the first one to get a majority, that's the end of it. If nobody gets a majority, then it goes to the vacancy board and down that path. So if the first, and the mayor would break ties if there are ties. If no one gets a majority and you go through, it's, like I said, it'll go to the vacancy board. So it's the first one to get a majority, and there's theoretically no advantage to whoever's nominated first, because you don't vote on that person until all the nominations are in, and you're going to know who's in play.
Thank you.
Vacancy board vacant.
I don't know.
Right now, Ken Whitebread is on it.
Oh, okay.
Thank you for the clarification, Council Vice President Willenbecker, you were saying?
I would like to nominate Pat Lister for the open council position.
Do I have any other nominations?
Mr. Redinger, I'll nominate Brandon Brockman.
Do I have any other nominations?
I'd like to nominate Phyllis Dew.
Do I have any other nominations? Seeing no more nominations, Madam Secretary, would you please
call the roll for the first nomination?
Councilor?
Yes will be an affirmative for candidate Lister.
No.
Ms. Lloyd,
No.
Ms. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Science,
No.
Ms. Willenbecker,
Yes.
Mr. Redinger.
Yes. We have a tie. Mayor Curry?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. The mayor's broke the tie. I would like to thank everybody for taking the time to submit their letter of interest. We truly had some great candidates with us this evening. And at this time, I would like to ask Pat Lister to join us to swear in.
And we do have a written resolution to confirm that will be signed tonight.
Yes. I'd also like to, let the candidates know we also have some other open positions on planning board, planning commission board, and some others, historical commission and so forth. So if you're interested in serving in some other capacity, please contact me at my office. We'd love to hear from you. So Mr. Lister, could you come forward, please?
Can you get a picture? Yes.
Please.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to.
Stand right
Oh,
Wait.
You want me to hit your phone, Jim? Get out of the way here.
Okay, so, repeat after me. Where do you want me to repeat after me? I state your name.
I, Patrick Lister,
Do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support, obey, and defend
that I will support, obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and that I will discharge
and I will discharge
the duties of my position
the duties of my position
as a Middletown Borough Councilor
as a Middletown Borough Councilor
with fidelity.
with fidelity.
Councilor Lister.
Thank you.
So you can be seated right next to Councilor Kluskevich and Miller. Miss Dew, can you hear us? Can you hear the meeting just fine? Okay, excellent. You're welcome to stay with us. I just ask that you mute your phone.
Okay.
Does Pat need to sign this?
No, he doesn't sign it, that's, he signs this one.
Okay. At this time, agenda item number 4. We did that. Agenda item number 5.
Do we have a motion to advertise ordinance 2022-1397, amending Chapter 60, Police Department to repeal Section 60-2 and ordinance 2013-1296 in its entirety?
So moved.
Moved by Councilor Kluskevich, second by Councilor Seitz. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Agenda item number 6.
Do I have a motion to adopt ordinance 2022-1392, amending Chapter 235, Streets and Sidewalks to make certain revisions and to establish additional requirements relating to street and sidewalk use?
So moved.
Moved by Councilor Kluskevich, second by Councilor Miller. Any questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Agenda item number 7.
I'm opposed to that, just for the record,
What are we on?
for the
6?
sidewalk ordinance. We're on 7 now.
Okay. Agenda item number 7.
Do I have a motion to authorize the reduction of Woodland Hills Phase 4, 5, and 7 letter of credit number STB 588 in the amount of $1,655,072, which leaves a balance of $1,487,871.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Councilor Seitz, second by Councilor Kluskevich. Any questions or comments? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Agenda item number 8.
Do I have a motion to approve the construction modification request for Woodland Hills Phase 6B, 8, 9, and 10B, contingent upon review from Borough Emergency Responders and the submission and council approval on an amended subdivision and land development plan reflecting proposed changes including storm, sanitary sewer structures adjusted to meet the proposed final grades of Sage Boulevard and Magnolia Drive.
Ken, can I just make one, I believe in email, Jim mentioned that we would not need a final, official amendment to that.
Of the saldo.
Of the plan.
Yeah.
That it could just be considered submit a revised plan.
Okay.
I thought they were actually submitting a revised plan.
Okay.
As opposed to, I mean, we could do it as an as-built if council board.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that was my, I just needed to clarify that. for the engineer.
I think what we were talking there, Josh, was we didn't have to
We just
amend
need
the
the waiver
saldo.
or the amendment approval. but
Right.
In the end, we'll need something that shows it.
Right, yeah, so it'll be reflected on as-built, we're good with that. Rather than amending the approved subdivision.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think we're good with that. yeah. That would work for you, right, Matt Miller? If we have an as-built plan, so if somebody's digging up the road or something, you're gonna know how deep the pipes are.
Rather than amending the subdivision.
Yeah, that works then.
So is the motion not necessary then, or should we follow through?
No, we should still do the motion to approve that change, because it's a,
Would council like me to reread the motion, or do you got
Yeah, I
it?
just wanted to clarify that there's not gonna be a new plan submission.
Okay.
until the as-built.
Somebody likes that idea.
So moved.
Thank you.
I got a motion by Councilor Kluskevich, a second by Councilor Miller. Any questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Agenda item number 9.
Do I have a motion to approve the retainer agreement with HRG in amount of $4,500 for assistance in the procurement of grant funding for the proposed Overdeer Park improvements?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilor Kluskevich, second by Councilor Seitz. Any questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Agenda item number 10.
Do I have a motion to adopt Resolution 2022-21 approving the disposition of equipment as noted on Exhibit A?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Vice President Councilor Willenbecker, second by Councilor Kluskevich. Any questions or comments? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Agenda item number 11.
Do I have a motion to adopt Resolution 2022-22 to enter into a 5-year winter maintenance agreement with PennDOT for the period of winter 2022 through winter 2026?
Second.
Moved by Councilor Miller, second by Councilor Kluskevich. Any questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Agenda item number 12.
Do I have a motion to approve the special event request from Middletown High School Alumni Association to hold the annual homecoming parade on October 15th, 2022, from 10:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m.?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilor Seitz, second by Vice President Willenbecker. Any questions or comments? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Agenda item number 13.
Do I have a motion to approve the special event request from the Moose to hold the annual Halloween parade October 22nd, 2022, from 5 p.m. for staging to 9 p.m.?
So moved.
Moved by Councilor Seitz, second by Councilor Miller. Any questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Agenda item number 14.
Do I have a motion to approve the side letter agreement between the Borough of Middletown and the Middletown Borough Police Officers Association allowing for a hiring incentive for full-time police officers with the agreements expiring December 31, 2024?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilor Kluskevich, second by Vice President Willenbecker. Any questions or comments? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. I'm excited that this is getting done. This is
That is
something our
wonderful.
department has needed for a very long time. So thank you, Director. Agenda item number 15.
Do I have a motion to direct Public Safety Director Wright to take the required actions to facilitate an in-house testing for police officer candidates and to contact the Civil Service Commission for the establishment of an eligibility list for police officers?
So moved.
Moved by Councilor Kluskevich, second by Councilor Miller. Any questions or comments on the eligibility list? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Agenda item number 16.
Do I have a motion to authorize the purchase of 2 pickup trucks with complete plow hookups in the amount of $45,000 each, with the funds for one truck coming from the ICDA funds and the other truck to be funded through the electric sinking fund?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilor Kluskevich, second by Councilor Seitz. All in favor? Or any questions or comments about the purchase? All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Agenda item number 17.
Do I have a motion to authorize the purchase of one Model 35A mini excavator through Stevenson Equipment, co-stars number 440001990 in the amount of $78,000 to be funded through the Electric Debt Service Fund.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Counselor Kluskevich, second by Counselor Seiss. Any questions or comments? All those in favor? Aye. Oppose? Motion carries. Agenda item number 18, council meeting dates.
Do I have a motion to change Borough Council meeting dates to the second and fourth Tuesdays of the month, effective? Any comments? Well, before we have a motion, let's go back and have a comment, because we never discussed, when do you want to start this? We talked to this as a month. Do you want to start it next month? Or, Grace, how much time we need to advertise? We don't need much time to advertise, right? Or do you want to?
Doesn't matter, I won't be here.
Mrs. Councilor Miller?
I think it should wait till the beginning of the year.
Oh, that's very fair.
People already have other commitments on these state changes, and I just think, plus we already paid for the advertising. So I think it's a smart move to just make it effective the beginning of next year.
Okay. I'm seeing a lot of head shaking. So at this time, we will table this, but I think it's really important that we're proactive when we get into our schedule for next year.
And did we contact Mr. Hunter?
I sent him an email, I haven't gotten a response yet.
Staff has contacted Mr. Hunter, and no response yet. All right. At this time, do I have general public comment? Good to see you, Rochelle.
Good to see you. First thing, Amtrak has been contacted 3 times now. They did clean the platform. They did a great job. The only thing they missed was the spiders at the platform coming off the elevator. Okay? So I called them again, told them, you gotta get it done. So they assured me they're gonna take care of it, which those spiders are about this big. They're man-eaters. So, okay? The other thing is, I got a great report about your guy back here. Your police chief. So, a friend of mine gave him a good report, said he's a good guy.
That's
and
good.
he loves it. So, you gotta love it. So, okay? And.
I don't know who you're talking to.
Your mama. Oh, man, that's bad. I haven't heard that one since I was a kid. Your mama. That one used to get you in trouble too. Oh, yeah. You used to get your hands beat for that. But anyway, I didn't say that. Anyway, and your cops are doing a great job. They came out on 2 incidents, one for me and one last night. And they did a real good job. They really did. So you gotta pat them on the back. Okay? I'll tell you about those. But anyway, that's all I gotta say. You guys are doing a good job.
Thank you.
Yep.
Excellent, Rochelle. Thank you for the input. Any other public comment? Seeing no more public comment, I'm seeking a motion.
Hold on. Can we take a minute to discuss the Hoffer Park Inclusive World issue? We added that to your packet late. I know it's not an agenda, it's not a voting item, but I want to bring that to your attention. That's in your packet. We discussed 3 options, or 2 options, I think, 3 options at our last workshop. We now have 4 options. One option was to replace the Inclusive World with a different piece of equipment. And then there were 2 options to put solid paving under the Inclusive World. One where it was originally designed to go, and one near the edge of moving it to the edge of the front. A 4th option came up, it's in your packet, that is listed as option C, which is what's being recommended by MRC, the people who are supplying the equipment, because it puts it near the edge where a wheelchair would not have to roll on the wood carpet like it would on option B, and one of the other options, I believe, would have to go across some wood, A and B. So MRC has committed to putting $4,400 to the change orders that are listed in there. I don't think since it's on the agenda, we're not going to vote on it, but I want you to maybe have some discussion about it. We can get a feel for where you folks are thinking, and then we can have it on the agenda for our business, or our next meeting and vote on a resolution.
Well, I'd like to chime in on this, because when this was brought up last time, we were ready to proceed. I see that they have now offered this $4,400, but I thought the most important aspect of the email was this sentence. Both Game Time and MRC apologized for overlooking the requirements on the feature for proper installation and hope the borough is pleased with the offer. I'm not. This is a contractual situation. It's not anyone's fault at this table that that was overlooked. So I'm not sure why the taxpayers should have to pay anything. And I'd welcome the solicitor to take a look at the contract if need be. That wasn't an issue created by this body.
Very fair point. It's up to council how they wish to proceed.
Yeah, I think we'd like to hear if there are any other comments that in agreement or opposition, at least hear your comments here tonight to give HRG some sense of where this may be going.
Well, we shouldn't, the taxpayers, including us, should not be footing the bill. This was the engineers screwed this up, the engineering firm. I don't know who that was, MRC. They should have reviewed the data before they put it out there for bid and approval. It's not our responsibility at this point.
I agree.
I guess maybe at this time we should reach out to MRC, see if they're willing to take care of the situation for us.
Josh, is that something?
Yeah,
we
I
could
mean,
do?
it's certainly a difficult situation because the way the project was bid, we bid the design that was agreed upon and approved prior to going into a contract with Rogel. So, I mean, MRC isn't contractually bound to this project at this point. Everything that was designed was done beforehand. We put that project out to bid. Now, Rogel is faced with the discrepancy in, the fact that the piece that was bid and spec'd per this direction, that's where the conflict lies. So, MRC and Game Time acknowledged that it was an oversight on their part during the preliminary and final design. But contractually, I mean, me and Jim can certainly have a.
Yeah, I think we should look at it from a legal perspective.
Yeah,
If they were negligent, they were negligent. We'll have to look at that.
Yeah.
Contractual or
I
not.
think it would be a legal decision. So yeah, I would certainly be open to having that conversation with Jim.
Okay, so let's get some more feedback on that, and then we can reconvene at a later date.
Is this going to hold up continued work on the rest of the project?
I mean, they indicated if we do decide to go with a board-in-place option, the turnaround time on that for the contract would be 2 to 3 weeks. So it really the only downside could be weather. So
One of the reasons I asked the question is because we haven't seen Rogel out there for quite some time.
Yeah, there was some delays with the final bridge piece, so they couldn't really do anything else until they couldn't put half the bridge in and just leave it hanging. So that piece arrived on Friday, I believe. So obviously we have some weather issues here this week. So once the site dries up and is workable for them, they'll certainly be back to finish the work.
But in the last 3 weeks, couldn't they have been putting in the other standalone pieces, such as the train and the cooling towers and things of that nature? Because
We don't direct their means or methods. They're contractually bound to the time extension.
That's right.
At this point, we don't have any control over what days they come to work.
Right. Okay. Well, then, Jim, I guess you're talking to Josh.
Does council or the mayor have anything else?
No.
Despite the cost of it, do we have kind of a direction on which option, one way or another, that we'd like the design to go?
I think we were leaning towards,
So and as Ken mentioned, in MRC's conversations with Game Time, we were originally talking about option B, which is just a port-in-place island kind of in the middle of the mulch. Game Time acknowledges that that is ADA accessible technically, however, they have their own inclusive technical division that analyzes that kind of stuff, and they personally advised against that option just because of the fact that the wheelchair would still have to roll through the mulch. So it is technically an ADA accessible design going through the mulch. The mulch is ADA
Compliant.
compliant. Their recommendation would be to have that connectivity to the entrance. So just for your consideration.
I know last meeting, we discussed both of those options in having the play equipment more involved with the rest of the play equipment. Wasn't, I don't know, I guess we needed to, you know.
Well, I still think this is maybe another legal question, you know, 'cause when Josh talks to Jim, it may be a situation where, as long as they can prove MRC that paving the island around it is functional, it may be they've met their requirements under the contract and by the definition of what the equipment needs to do to work. And they might not, you know, so you'll have to look at that as well.
Does anybody else have any other questions? Okay, at this time, I'm seeking a motion to adjourn. We will be going to executive session to discuss real estate and personnel and litigation. Do I have a motion? We will not be returning. Do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Second.
All in favor? Thank you, everybody. I filled all this out already.
Jim, can I reach out to you tomorrow?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Any good time?
Definitely before 4